So many people think wealth is this magical number in their bank account, like a finish line you cross and suddenly, poof, you're wealthy. But here's the deal, and I really want you to get this. Wealth isn't a final destination. It's a mindset. It's about how you think, how you operate, and how you approach your money every single day. If you're just hoping to stumble into a pile of cash, you're playing the lottery, not building sustainable financial strength. The big shift we need to make, and this is crucial, is moving away from this idea of wishful accumulation, just hoping more money shows up, to an intentional, deliberate strategy. Think of it like designing a house. You wouldn't just throw bricks and wood together and hope for the best, right? You'd have a blueprint, a plan. Your finances are no different. It's about being proactive, not reactive. It's about understanding the mechanics of money, not just the end result. This isn't about chasing get-rich-quick schemes. It's about building a solid foundation that can support you long-term, and that starts with a fundamental change in perspective. And that brings me to the core of what we're discussing. How to build real, tangible financial power. It's not just about how much you make, though that's a piece of the puzzle. It's really about focusing on what you do with what you have. You could be earning a massive salary and still be broke if your financial habits are terrible. Conversely, someone with a more modest income but a smart, disciplined approach can build incredible financial security. We're going to break down how to cultivate that powerful mindset and implement strategies that actually work, so stick around. Alright, so let's dive into the first big concept, and honestly, this is where a lot of people get tripped up. We're talking about thinking in terms of cash flow, not just obsessing over your net worth. Now don't get me wrong, net worth is important. It's a great snapshot of your overall financial health, your assets minus your liabilities. But your daily financial life, the thing that actually determines whether you feel secure or stressed, that's all about cash flow. Think of cash flow as the operational heartbeat of your finances. It's the money coming in versus the money going out, month after month, week after week. It's the engine that powers everything else. You see, net worth can be a bit misleading on its own. You could have a high net worth tied up in illiquid assets, like a house you can't easily sell, but if your monthly expenses are crushing your income, you're still going to feel broke. You'll be house rich, cash poor, as they say. That's why focusing on positive cash flow, having more money coming in regularly than going out, is so incredibly vital. It's what gives you breathing room, options, and the ability to invest and grow. It's the difference between constantly being on the defensive with your money and being on the offensive, making strategic moves. So, how do you get a handle on this? It starts with meticulous tracking. And I mean meticulous. You need to know down to the penny if possible where every single dollar is coming from. That's your recurring income. This isn't just your salary, it could be side hustles, rental income, dividends, whatever. Then, and this is the part most people dread but is absolutely essential, you need to track your recurring expenses with that same precision. Your rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, subscriptions, that daily coffee, it all adds up, and you need to see the full picture. Once you have that data, you can start to see the patterns. Where is your money really going? Are there leaks in your financial boat? Are there areas where you can optimize? This isn't about depriving yourself, it's about making conscious choices. Maybe you realize you're spending a fortune on subscriptions you barely use, or that eating out is costing you way more than you thought. Understanding your cash flow statement, your personal income versus expenses, is the first step to taking control and designing a financial life that actually supports your goals, rather than undermining them. This detailed understanding of your income and outgoings is the foundation upon which all other financial strategies are built. Without it, you're essentially flying blind. You can't effectively budget, save, or invest if you don't have a clear picture of your cash flow reality. So, make it a priority. Use a spreadsheet, a budgeting app, whatever tool works for you, but commit to understanding the flow of money in your life. It's not the sexiest part of personal finance, I'll grant you that, but it's arguably the most important for building that day-to-day financial stability and power. Okay, moving on to our second major point, and this one is all about making your financial life less complicated, because let's be honest, the world of finance can feel overwhelming. There are a million gurus out there, 1,000 different investment products, and endless advice, often contradictory. It's enough to make anyone's head spin. So, what I want to talk about is cutting the financial noise. It's about simplifying your financial strategy so you can actually stick to it and see results rather than constantly chasing the next shiny object or feeling paralyzed by too many options. The truth is, for most people, a complex financial strategy isn't necessarily a better one. In fact, often the opposite is true. The more moving parts you have, the more chances there are for things to go wrong, the more time you have to spend managing it, and the easier it is to get sidetracked. Think about it. The most successful long-term investors often have surprisingly simple strategies. They pick a sound approach, they stick to it through thick and thin, and they let compounding do its magic. They're not day trading every hot stock or jumping on every new crypto fad. So, how do you simplify? First, take a hard look at your current financial setup. Do you have accounts scattered everywhere? Are you subscribed to a dozen financial newsletters that just leave you more confused? Are you trying to implement 5 different budgeting techniques at once? It's time to declutter. Consolidate accounts where it makes sense. Unsubscribe from information sources that aren't providing real, actionable value. Pick one budgeting method that resonates with you and commit to it. The goal is to create a streamlined system that's easy to understand and manage. A huge part of simplifying is also about focusing on what actually works for you and your specific situation and goals. My strategy might not be the perfect fit for you, and your neighbor's strategy might not be right for me. Stop comparing yourself to others or trying to replicate someone else's exact path. Understand your own risk tolerance, your time horizon, and your financial objectives. Then, build a straightforward plan around those core elements. Maybe it's as simple as consistently investing in a few low-cost index funds and focusing on increasing your savings rate. That's often far more effective than trying to time the market or pick individual winning stocks. And here's a pro tip for cutting noise. Automate what you can. We'll dive deeper into automation in the next chapter, but it's a key component of simplification. When your savings and investments happen automatically, you remove the emotion and the daily decision-making fatigue from the equation. This frees up your mental energy to focus on the bigger picture, like increasing your income or making major financial decisions, rather than getting bogged down in the day-to-day minutiae. Simplicity breeds consistency, and consistency is what builds wealth over time. Alright, let's get into the third key area, which builds perfectly on what we just talked about with simplification, automating the basics while making sure you stay actively informed. This is where the design part of Design Your Wealth really comes into play. You're creating systems that work for you, even when you're not actively thinking about them. Automation is your best friend when it comes to building good financial habits consistently, because it takes willpower and forgetfulness out of the equation. Think about it. How many times have you meant to transfer money to savings, but then something came up? Or you just forgot? The first things you absolutely should look to automate are your savings and investments. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account on payday. Seriously, pay yourself first, before you even have a chance to spend that money elsewhere. If your employer offers a 401k or similar retirement plan, contribute to it automatically from each paycheck, especially if there's an employer match. That's free money, people. For other investments like a Roth IRA or a brokerage account, set up recurring automatic investments, even if it's a small amount to start. Consistency over time is what really moves the needle. Next up, bill payments. Late fees are a completely unnecessary drain on your finances, and they can also damage your credit score. Most banks and service providers offer automatic bill pay. Set it up for all your regular, predictable expenses like your mortgage or rent, utilities, car payments, insurance premiums, and credit card bills. At least the minimum payment, though ideally the full statement balance. This not only saves you from potential fees and stress, but also gives you a clearer picture of your fixed outgoing cash flow each month, making budgeting even easier. Now, while automation is fantastic for consistency and efficiency, it's not a set it and forget it entirely kind of deal. This is where the stay actively informed part comes in. You need to regularly review your automated systems. Check your bank statements, your investment performance, and your credit card bills. Make sure the automations are working correctly, that there are no unauthorized transactions, and that your overall strategy still aligns with your goals. Life changes, your income might increase, your expenses might shift, your financial goals might evolve, and your automated systems need to be adjusted accordingly. Being actively informed also means understanding what's happening with your money. Don't just blindly automate into investments you don't understand. Take some time to learn the basics of where your money is going and why. You don't need to become a financial expert, but you should have a fundamental grasp of your investment strategy and be aware of any significant changes in the market or in your own financial situation that might warrant a review. Automation handles the execution, but your informed oversight ensures the strategy remains sound and effective for your long-term wealth design. Alright guys, so that's the breakdown on how to really start designing your wealth by shifting your mindset. It's not about some secret formula, it's about understanding your cash flow like it's the back of your hand, cutting out all that confusing financial noise that just paralyzes you, and then automating the heck out of your savings and investments so you're consistently building wealth without even having to think about it. Seriously, if you implement just these 3 things, you'll be miles ahead of most people who are just kind of winging it and hoping for the best. Remember, wealth isn't just about a big number, it's about control, it's about options, and it's about building a financial foundation that supports the life you actually want to live. It takes a little bit of effort up front to get these systems in place, to track your spending, to set up those automations, but I promise you, the peace of mind and the long-term benefits are absolutely worth it. Don't just let your financial life happen to you, take active control and design it with intention. That's what we're all about here at Elandtech. So if you got any value out of this video, you know what to do, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really does help out the channel more than you know. And of course, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss out on future videos where we dive even deeper into these topics. Drop a comment down below and let me know which of these steps you're going to implement first, or if you have any questions. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.